This is Sheila Stirling, and we're doing alchemy. We're doing cellular repatterning this afternoon. The components of it, and what it means to do something like that, and why would we want to do it. That why is really important. So we have a small intimate group. So my name is Sheila, and if you want to say your name?
I'm Marty.
Marty?
Bert.
Bert. Already met Bert.
Heidi.
What?
Heidi.
Heidi. Judy. Judy? Hi, Judy.
Tom.
Tom?
Denzel. Denzel.
Okay, I'm really sorry.
D-E-N-C.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so if you missed my talk on Friday, we talked a good bit about where you're at now in your life, and we talked a little bit about duality. The reason I'm going to lead in with that, most people, you can't really feel if you have a duality. And we did an experiment on Friday. If somebody says to you, if you close your eyes and somebody said to you, you're the most magnificent, beautiful being, you're the light of the universe, and you are loved and you are cherished. There's about 3 ways that people react to that, and I'm using react instead of act. But the first way is, automatically your mind is going to go, this is really stupid. And excuse my language, but most of it comes up as like, this is bullshit, I'm not doing it. I'm just being really honest, okay? That's actually probably 70% of people in an audience will react that way. And it's not bad, there's no right or wrong to doing it. And the second way is all of a sudden, as soon as I started to say the words, your mind was shattering, like, how many socks I leave in the dryer, what do I do for dinner, who do I want to see next? Gee, I really like that pendant over there, am I going to buy it? But anyway, so you barely heard the words because there was chatter. And then the third response to that is you kind of all of a sudden feel like somebody has put their arms around you, kind of in a warm hug, and you feel grateful in your heart, and you kind of go, thank you for seeing me for who I am. So just with a show of hands, I know we didn't all really do it with our eyes closed, but how many people would put themselves in that, and there's no right or wrong, okay? How many people put themselves in that first category? Like, I'm not doing it. Raise your hands, because there's no right or wrong. How many people in the second category? Thank you for your honesty. It takes rigorous honesty to do this, by the way. And how many people in the third category? But they just feel wonderful. Most people don't. And what that is, it's actually your subconscious protecting you. Your subconscious is the keeper of the gate. I know one of the slides is probably going to show this. Just so you know, I'm doing this off the cuff. I put this thing together last night because I'm like, I'm not going to talk about food. I'm talking about this. It's more, it's just in my mind. So somebody said, well, what are you trying to do to the subconscious? And the thing is that we want to take the subconscious from this to this. Subconscious is protecting you, but it's also protecting you from data, new data coming in. Subconscious loves status quo. And therein lies the challenge, because sometimes say, well, how come people don't change? Why am I choosing the same things that I have been choosing? I've grown in the last year, 2 years, whatever it is. Why aren't things progressing in the way that I feel that they should be? Well, the thing is that your subconscious is actually trying to protect you from change, which can be a good thing, but also can be sort of not. So I guess I'm running my own slideshow here. If you're in this room, I just have to say, you're not here by chance, because we all know there's no accident. So if you're in this room, you're ready, willing, and able to hear this stuff, and you're ready, willing, and able to do something about it. Because it really is within our human capability. You are just able to do the impossible. Has anybody in the room ever been told, either health-wise, like there's no way you're going to recover from this, or you can't do this? Has anybody ever been told that? No? Am I the only one? Come on. Okay, thank you. Don't ever believe it, because we really are the most miraculous beings. So, and of course, I always like Hippocrates, natural forces within us are the true healers of disease, because we are the healers within. So we get started. The time is short here. You notice I'm talking a little fast. I have to tell you, this is a piece of an 8-hour, I do a 3-day retreat and an 8-hour nationally accredited workshop where I teach people to go into the quantum field. That's what we're going to do today. So don't expect to get the whole thing all at once, but I want to give you the components of it because you can go home and even you can't unhear something. You can't unsee it. So just the fact that you're sitting here, some things might start to unwind in a good way. So this is what it is. This is your conscious mind. But we all know this is the subconscious. And the subconscious is running the boat. So we're like giant recording studios. Every moment since before you came through the birth canal has been recorded. And what happens is it sits like a little trauma on the cell. And every time you get that, it shifts your perception a little bit. We don't know it, we don't feel it, but that is exactly what happens with it. So by the time we're in our teens or whatever, whatever age, chronological age is kind of passé these days, isn't it? We're all going to live to be about 200 now. So whatever it is, you are recording, it's being recorded. And the further we get from shifting, because our life really is our perception of life, right? I mean, it's just a fact that it is. And I want to thank Dr. Bernard Wolff, who is one of the founders of the holodynamic theory. I want to talk about communication first. And just so you know, everything I'm saying, I'm actually talking to your subconscious. Because I'm actually, right now, there's no secrets here, and I don't want to have any secrets, it's not a mystery. I'm wanting to give the subconscious enough information that it might feel comfortable enough, so when we do a little exercise, you'll really reap some benefit from it. Is that okay? Is that okay with everybody? Okay, now since I'm doing this alone, because our communication, let's see, do I get this the way? No? How do I do this? I'm not supposed to be running this, by the way. I have no idea what I'm doing. I want my thing. Where is it? Anybody know how to do this? No? Oh, that's okay. Let's see. Where are you? Aha. Okay. So, I don't know if the sound is on or not, but communication happens, real communication, quantum communication happens in 1/72 of a second. And we can see, have you ever seen a school of fish or a flock of birds and you're like, wow, that's cool, they're all doing it at the same time. This is what happens. Only 50, I guess the audio, I hope he's got the audio hooked up because I'm going to play some music in a while. Anyway, it's only 58 seconds, so we'll watch this. It's very calming, but the music is beautiful. I like this. I'm not going to hum it. Don't worry. But, so we're looking at this, and I'll tell you a secret about the fish. We communicate, our cells communicate 1/72 of a second. Fish, actually, it's the stripe on the side, and the cells inside the fish's body puts out a frequency, and that frequency resonates through that stripe, and that's how these fish communicate. Probably more information you wanted to know, right? But I find it fascinating. So that's how we are meant to communicate. So healing that happens, all healing really happens in the quantum field. We hear about people having spontaneous remissions. You've all done it. How many people have had the flu? I mean, really had bad flu or cold, and you're like, I'm just dying. This is just the worst thing. And then there comes that moment. All of a sudden, you're like, someone calls and you're like, I'm on the mend. What happened? Okay? Enough of your cells got together that they were all moving in the same direction. So sometimes, when I have time, I have people actually come up here with ropes, like a tug rope. It might seem a little silly, but it's very effective. Because if you're conscious mind, everybody wants to be well. Is everybody all on the same page? We all want to be well. The body wants to be well. So what happens? Well, the subconscious sometimes has its own agenda. And it's an agenda that's been with you for a very, very long time. We just don't really realize it or know it. So, how many people have had chickenpox? Okay, when you're really young, right? Little something? And people were really nice to you, okay? I'm just giving you just an example. This is where the subconscious goes to comfort food. People were nice to you. They give you ice cream and chicken soup, depending on where you were, but you know, everybody loved you. And it was a time when you of mending and a time of healing, and then people just treated you so well. See, the subconscious remembers this. And so sometimes as we get older, does anybody know anybody that sort of identifies with things that are perhaps not perfect with them, rather than things that are perfect with them?
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay. This is what happens, and it's not really, you know, some people go, oh, gosh, I can't hang out with Sal anymore because all I hear is this. But what it is, it's sort of a cry for help. Your subconscious is remembering those days gone by. And they should teach this stuff in school, because what happens is until we stop and clear some of the trauma off of ourselves, we are still in a reactionary state as it was back then. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here, obviously. So as we come, the quantum field is it really out there, or is it in here? Yeah. Is it, I mean, people talk about the quantum field like it's, we have to go to Mars or, you know, somewhere we're going to go out there and reach. You might feel like it. I'm grateful enough to have been able to walk the halls of the Akashic Records and be able to come back. I'm so grateful for some of the places I've been. I don't talk about my stuff a lot, but for those of you who don't know me, I've been to the other side twice, yes. Yeah, I have a PhD in health and wellness, and I'm all about health and wellness and food and, you know, using it as medicine and stuff. But the downloads is really, that's what I want to convey today. Because I think it's, in this time and place where we are, this is really important. So, we already, you know, subconscious, I already talked about that before we even started. But it's really, I don't like to use the word duality, but it's the synchronization of the unconscious and the conscious mind. It's really super important. And we're probably going to have to run and get the guy. So I wanted to show this because you can't unsee it. This slide comes from something else, but okay, your pineal gland sits right behind. When we hear, this is why music and sound and vibration is so important and so profound to us, because, hey, go back here, I want to watch that again. I'm sorry, everybody.
Do you want me to run and get the guy for you?
Yeah, would you? Because
Yeah.
I am about to want to play some music, and I don't.
I will.
Thank you so much. It's Alan, if you can find him.
Alan, okay.
Yeah, so this is how we hear. As the sound waves come in, it's taken in for ourselves and up into both hemispheres of the brain. And as it does that, it hits, it pings the pineal gland. And this is why sometimes we can sit down and listen to music that brings us to tears, and sometimes we can listen to music that just makes us want to get up and jump. Oh, are you good, Techie?
Well, no, I've just done a video stage, but.
Well, you have to, I know this did that.
Have you tried?
I just clicked that. And it
Did you
worked.
try doing that?
Well, the next one is we're actually going to do an exercise. So I wanted to share with you, it sounds really simple, and it can be simple. How many people have tried to access the subconscious mind and make a change in that area? Okay. How many people have been totally, really successful? Good. How many people have done some work on past traumas that actually, you know, once a friend of mine and I, we went, everyone know who Dimitri is? What's his name? He's the Dimitri conferences, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Anyways, you have to cry before they'll let you go home. I went to this thing, I'm telling you, I mean, he's wonderful, he's famous, but you had to do all this writing. It was 2:30 in the morning, and my friend and I said, let's just cry. Just cry because we have to go home. They were trying to force this thing, and they thought, well, if we write all this stuff out about all this again and again and again, it's going to bring it up. I didn't find that very successful, and I want to say that everybody has different ways. It's been my experience that when you can give the subconscious enough information that it feels like I did before, like that, we can do this. You unlock that area, that very sensitive, touchy area. Now, there's components. I'm going to give you the components, and you might think this sounds kind of silly, but it's actually not. I can give you, I'm going to share a story with you a little bit. Yeah, we're going to need sound on the next one. And I don't think it's happening. And I can tell a story while you're doing that because it's an absolutely true story. They're friends of mine actually.
Right.
They're friends of, pardon me?
It's not on.
Yeah, what is it?
I thought it was on when I left. I hope it's not low battery.
Is it?
Shouldn't be. It shouldn't
Okay,
be.
you know what? Let's just try it for a second before you leave the room.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go like that, it's gonna work. And that's really loud. How do we, okay, wait, I
Either
know.
from there or I can do it from the speaker.
Let's see. Okay, I don't want to blast everybody out. So
Level one, it's an easy solution.
what happened was, this friend of mine, she has a daughter. And her daughter has 3 children. And the youngest child was autistic. Now, I don't know what happened. There was problems in the family. The young girl, basically, she's in her late 30s, and she had a breakdown. And the family was going to commit her to an institute to try to figure out what's going on. The mother, knowing me, called me and said, Sheila, please, God, if you can do anything to help us, please. And I'm like, I'm in the car, I'm right there, let's see what we can do. She'd been at one of my workshops, the 8-hour day. So I come there, and I sit down at the table, everybody else leaves, the mother's sitting here, and the girl is sitting here, and I looked at her, kind of threw it a little bit, so I'm going a little bit, but I looked at her and I said, what happened when you were 5? And she said, nothing. And the mother said, nothing. And I said, you don't get to talk. And the girl said, nothing. And I'm like, something happened. And I said, close your eyes. Everyone knows why we close our eyes, right? When your eyes are open, you're in the conscious world. And the reason that we close our eyes is because then we turn within and we can access the subconscious. So that's why sometimes even someone's talking to you and you want to close your eyes, it's because you want to really take it in. So anyway, I saw that her mind was kind of going, and I could see the tears starting to well up. And I just sat there, and she said, my mother cut my hair. And the mother was going to, defend herself. And I'm like, and I said, well, tell me about that. And she said, when I was 5, my mother cut my hair like on a bowl or something. It was, to her, it was traumatic. You see, it doesn't sound like anything. But she went to school, and kids started throwing spit wads at her, and it was really horrible. They made fun of her. It was traumatic to her at that point. But she never thought anything of it. She came home, Mom said, I was school, school sucked, kids were mean to me. She didn't think anything of it. All these years later, because the secret is, when you think something is happening in your life that's just awful, no, that is your subconscious telling you it is ready, willing, and able to be healed. I can't tell you, people come to me and say, it's terrible, I've been betrayed, I've been this. I'm like, yeah, good. And they're like, something's wrong with you. I'm like, no, this is something that you can heal now. Because unless it's right here, it just goes back in the subconscious. On a side note, that's where patterns come from, because we just ignore it and go on and say, well, I'll do better the next time, and we don't stop and take care of it. Right. Anyway, so she's sort of like weeping, and I said, there's a blessing in this. You just haven't been able to see it. And all of a sudden, you could see the light coming out of her, and she's like, oh my God, and then she's hysterically crying. She's like, this was preparing me all of these years. How did Spirit know? this was preparing me so I would know what my daughter, who is autistic and 7 years old and going to school now, would feel like. Change the relationship between her and her daughter. You see, we just unraveled. We were able to unravel that trauma. And what did it do? When you unravel this stuff, it goes all the way back and all the way forward along the timeline. I know that with certainty. And she sort of came out of it, and she says, you guys aren't taking me anywhere. She figured it out. I mean, I facilitated, but I didn't do it. But that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And that's why I want to tell you the components. And we're going to do it, but we don't have 8 hours, whatever. And I can walk you through it. It's up to you. I can walk you through it like in 3 minutes, or we can actually take 18 minutes, as long as we have time, right? As long as we have that time. And I can sort of walk you through what it would be like so that you would have this information in your conscious and in your subconscious so you can work with them. And it's okay. You know, I've had people walk out of my thing and say, wow, this was the best energy I've ever felt in my life, but I don't feel anything. Like a week later, they're on the phone with me hysterical. I'm stuck at a stoplight. I can't drive. And I'm like, oh, crap, sorry. But, you know, so I've actually turned it into a 3-day work retreat because I, you know, had some things happen. It's very profound, but it doesn't always happen at once. But like I said, once you hear something, you can't unhear it. Once you see something, this is our vehicle. This is our vehicle to get to ascension. This is our vehicle. And all we need, all that has to happen is just that somebody say, okay, here's step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's kind of what I really like to do, if that's okay. Is that okay? Is everybody up for an experience, or you just want me to talk?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I had to get permission, because here's what I'm going to tell you. Like I said, there's absolutely no secret, and people are kind of weird about that. When I do my workshop, I actually bring somebody who's done it before up in front of the room, and we do it. It takes 28 minutes. But we do it so that people's subconscious are looking, going, oh, that doesn't look so bad. You're just sitting in the chair. You don't have to tell your story. You don't have to say anything. So we don't have time, or no one has really done it. So, but I want to give you, it's called opportunity retrieval. And it's called PORT, something I developed many years ago. Opportunity retrieval technique. You're not going to find it online or anything, because it's not there. It's here. And the reason, I mean, this kind of thing, it took me 6 years to get back into my body the last time I was taken. And this is one of the things that a piece that I was given. It's a piece of the puzzle. And, you know, we all know, the more pieces of the puzzle we have, the better off we're going to be here, either wherever we are. So it's going to sound a little silly, okay? But it covers the what I wanted, allowing, and the opening. So I've never, just so you know, I have never done this before. I just feel compelled to just say this to you and let you know. It's going to seem silly. So maybe, would you volunteer? Sorry. Sorry. Sure. Yeah, well, just for a minute. I just want to show, we're not going to do it. Okay, so, just sit down. Yeah, we didn't plan this. We planned it. No, she's like, oh gosh, Sheila, what are you going to do? What did I volunteer for? Well, here's the thing. So, in this music, the music that goes with this is very high frequency. It was a channel that I channeled in a long time ago. And I thought it was for me until I lost the ability to hear or understand what anybody was saying. You would speak to me, and the words would fall out of your mouth onto the ground in the pool. And having just taken 6 years to get back in my body and recovered from some pretty hefty brain injury, I'm like going, oh my God, I'm getting, something's happening here. I'm really getting reactive. And I called a friend of mine. I said, this was a gift from the angels. I used to say, in the moment of no more moments, the angels would come and they would take me soaring and they would sing me this song. And it healed me. And so I I have to share it, right?
Yes.
So I learned that it wasn't for me, that I had to share it. So that's how this came about, this music that goes with this piece. And it's gonna sound silly, but I'm gonna kind of take you into a meditation a little bit. It's gonna be kind of fast, so, if I'm rushing you in your mind, you're gonna go, oh my God, she's going too faster, let's get out of here. You're gonna have all kinds of things happen, and I wanna hear about it, because it all means something. But in this process, it's in a very safe place that I'm going to take you. The first thing we wanna do is know what. So the first question will be, I would just do it. But I think if you know ahead of time, and you might think this is silly, and if it's making you feel uncomfortable to hear these words, you should put glue in your seat, because you're gonna wanna leave if it makes you uncomfortable. But that just means you're supposed to really be here. It's simple. So in this room, it's very safe. You're going to just ask, that we're going to see who comes forward. It could be Aunt Bessie. It could be your great-grandfather. We have no idea. I was talking to somebody who says his wife came forward. I said, you guys need to talk. But it usually is from something, it could be multi-generational, but it's usually something very early on that you would have no idea, sitting back there just waiting for some attention. And for me, I'll share, I was always the wild child. Okay, I drowned when I was 5. It was my first death experience, okay? And we used to go to Palm Springs every year. And one year, you know how they have bumps? Anybody been to Palm Springs? Mm-hmm. We used to have all those bumps in the road. I used to go, faster, Daddy, and we'd all fly, our heads would hit the ceiling. My mother would be going, Leslie, stop, But they thought I was asleep, and they thought my sister was asleep. And my dad and mom were talking about me, and they said, what are we going to do about Sheila? She's like a bad seed. She's like, what are we going to do with her? I don't know where she came from. And they were saying all this stuff. And that, at that time, of course, I was little, and I didn't think anything of it. Learning this stuff, this is one of the first things that came forward for me when I was doing this. So I'm telling you this part of a story so that the question you're going to ask, if and when, and if nobody shows up here, it's all right. It's okay. Just enjoy the music. But if somebody does show up, you're going to want to sort of yell at them, be angry. Like, you hurt me because, or you hurt me why. You hurt me, why you didn't hurt me this way or this, whatever it is. Get it out. Get it all out quietly. This isn't something we're going to be yelling or anything inside. But you're going to have a conversation with this person. You're protected by a white rope, and I'll explain that in a minute. And you're going to be letting this person know, this is what happened. And, you hurt me because, or you hurt me when. Okay? And then, when you're done talking, you're going to let that person know how you wanted it to be. For me, it was like, I wanted you to love me. I wanted you to appreciate this unusual being that I am. Whatever it is for you. And then the third thing is, and I'm going to walk you through it pretty fast because we don't have 5 hours here. But here's the clinch. Here's what starts to repattern. You're going to be quiet, and you're going to stand up, and you're going to ask this person, after you tell them how you want it to be, make sure they know. But you're going to say, what happened? What happened to you in your life that caused you to behave in this manner? Because face it, our parents did the best they could with what they had to work with, right? And, if you love your parents, or you don't, whatever it is, a lot of this stuff is coming from our source figures, which is our parents. So this is what we're talking about right now. Although this can be used for intergalactic travel, this can be used for a lot of things, please call me first before you do that, okay? I'm just saying that. And see what they have to say. At this point, if you're going to have a cellular clearing, something's going to happen in your heart. You're going to feel it. There's no mistake, you're just gonna feel it. And it's not like crying, but something will well up and come out of your eyes. Everybody knows what the chemical makeup of tears is, right? Everybody knows that the purpose of tears in our physical body is to normalize the brain, right? We all know that. Okay, well, it is. If you don't, I'm just saying, that's what it is. And that's why Dimitri won't let you out of his seminar until you cry. But it's insane, really. I mean, it's like, okay, let's just all cry, right? But anyway, but that's why he does that, because he wants people to have an experience. But you can't force it. You just can't. It's either going to happen or it's going to happen later on. But once you have this knowledge and the ability to do it, okay, so then, if your heart opens and if tears flow, okay, you can see if there's some kind of reckoning. Because in this place that we're going to go, there's no secret, there's a rope. And if the person that comes forward, that's going to follow me. In this room, if, we're going to play the music really loud, okay? Sorry. If this person has been a danger to you, because you don't know who's going to come forward. It could be a brother or something that bullied you to pieces, you don't know. You get to tie him up in a chair, okay? Whatever it is, it'll happen in your mind, it'll happen in an instant, and it'll keep you safe. So I just want you to know. So does everybody want to take a chance and do this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then you got your seat.
Thank you.
I needed you to sit here, I couldn't have said all that, don't ask me why, right?
Okay.
I just not asking, I don't know. So this music is 18 minutes. The full channel is 28 minutes, and that's what's really used, okay? But we're shortening it for time's sake, and because, and we need to shut the door. Would somebody please shut that door? Thank you. Sorry, I don't want to come in. Hey! What?
That's coming out of a man.
Did you open up our adjoining doors and tell them the do not disturb sign is on? So, yeah. I had people.
Play your music loud.
I will. Well, God bless them. I don't know who they were. The people over in that corner, they have a long table. They were playing some vibrations this morning. I mean, I said, listen, some people in this room have had head injuries. Could you turn the volume down on that? I mean, did anybody hear that this morning? Did it bother anybody? Okay. All right. So, I may have to adjust the sound a little bit. This is called Sounds of the Soul. And if you want to just, you want to put everything down and sort of just take a nice deep breath. And I'll slow my speech down. And we'll walk through it together, okay? So, we take about 3 to 4 minutes. And we walk, just start breathing. Oh, lovely. Oh, my God, are you going to have to get up? What happened? Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm escaping this because I know where this is on my, I know where this is on my laptop. Anybody know how to get the PowerPoint off of the laptop? I mean, not off it, but I want to get to reduce it.
Is there an
No,
8-year-old?
here. No, hold on, I'm gonna put PowerPoint right now.
Turned on.
Okay.
Speaker turned on. No.
Okay, so, I'm actually just gonna do it from a laptop, and then I'll put this thing back on. Does that mean it's going or not going? It'll take a few minutes, 18 seconds. Is that back on?
Yeah, just the power
Okay. So, that's pretty loud. But, so, everybody, just take a breath. Okay. going to travel. Can't hear you. Can't hear it? We can hear you. Oh. We're going to travel through an archway. Just breathe it in. And as we get close to the door, it opens up just a little. And as we take one step closer, the door swings wide. And we step across the threshold. And we're standing on a path. And we're in a beautiful valley. And the sky is blue and the grass is high. Let's begin to walk on this pathway together. And as we walk on the path, off to the right, we see a staircase that leads down. We begin to walk down the staircase. It has a railing, and we hold on with our right hand. And we step down a stair, and down the second stair, and down the third stair. And on the fourth stair, there's a landing, and the staircase turns to the left. And as we walk down one more stair and two more stairs, we see a room in front of us with a door. Inside this room, it is safe. Inside this room, you will find a white, large room that spans all across the room. So as we open the door and step in, maybe there's a chair waiting for you, or maybe you'd like to stand. But as you come into that room, the door behind you closes. Find yourself a comfortable place and ask, that didn't work, and ask what is and who is there that's coming forward. What is ready, willing, and able to be healed at this time? Take a moment and see if somebody comes forward. See if it is a relation. If you feel safe, allow them to stand. If you don't, have them sit in a chair. You are the boss. This is your safe room. You can even put a white robe around them if you feel the safest. Now you're going to say to them, let them know what happened. You hurt me when? Or you hurt me by doing something. Tell them how it made you feel. And raise your voice. You don't have to, but you let them know. When that is completed, you're going to let them know. This is how I wanted it to be. It might sound like I wanted you to love me. I wanted you to accept me for who I am. I wanted you to allow me to grow up in such a way, whatever it is for you. finished letting them know how you wanted it to be, ask them, what happened in your life to cause you to behave this way? What happened to you? And then be quiet and let them speak. Notice how you're feeling. Do you have compassion for them? Or are you not ready to have compassion for them? Let them know. See if there feels like there was any kind of a reckoning here. Possibly could be. And now take a few breaths in, because it's time for them to go back from whence they came. And as they fade back into the ethers, we say fare thee well. It's a place that we can come back to. Say fare thee well. And as they fade and start, look around the room. Make sure that white robe is there. Take a nice couple of deep breaths. Keep your eyes closed. And open the door to the room. Take a step outside the room. And close that door behind you. And begin to walk along the staircase. And as you're walking along that staircase, you begin to walk up. Now holding on to the railing with your left hand. Hold on to the railing. Walk up one stair, the second stair, the third stair. As it turns, you're going to be walking again up the stair. Another stair, and up another stair, until you see that I'm waiting on the path for you. So with your left hand, push up and step up onto that last stair and onto the path. And as we all begin to gather on that path, we're going to make our way back to the door, back to that archway. And somehow, it looks a little brighter. It looks, maybe there's crystals on the ground. The sun is hitting just right. We're walking on that pathway, and up ahead we see that archway. We see that doorway, and as we get close, it opens up just a little. And as we come close, it swings wide, and one by one, we step over that threshold. And you can, keeping your eyes shut, you feel yourself sitting in the chair, sitting in this room. Begin to keep your eyes closed, begin to wiggle your toes. Begin to wiggle yourself so you know that you're here. Your hands may tingle just a little bit. And that's all right. So as the last one, we have 2 people that aren't stepped over that threshold yet. And so in the next breath, you know who you are. Take a step. Take that step over the threshold back into the here and now. I'm giving you a little energetic push. And as you step into the room and you're sitting in the chair, the door closes behind us. And you are home. You are safe. And you are here. And you are blessed. So I'm going to take up a deep breath. And come on back. Take a deep breath, let it out with a sigh. What are you bargaining for here? Now, I noticed a couple of people coughing. You're really starting to cough. This is a mechanism of your subconscious blocking, wanting to block out. I just want you to know, some people start to sweat or whatever. And who felt that they had something that said, okay, this, stop. I mean, coughing.
For me, I have a cold, number
Okay.
one. But number 2, when I cough, I sense that my cough is helping me expel the energy I'm trying to release.
Okay. Anybody else? You were coughing too? Your throat got dry.
My sinuses just started to drain.
Right. All kinds of incredible, funny physical things. Did I see somebody back here sort of weeping or whatever? If you'd like, because I want you to share, because this is the important part. I need to make sure that does everybody feel like they are solidly back in their chairs? And we're going to do a grounding thing before you leave this room. I learned my lesson.
That was really beautiful.
Huh?
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It was
Thank you.
really fast, but
No, it's
it's
really-
extremely deep work. People don't realize how deep this is. And the reason it takes like 6 hours of all kinds of sound healing stuff, we go through so much science and so much other things in the workshop, because when you get to that point, your subconscious is on board with you. Can you imagine how powerful would it be if somebody said, well, this is wrong with you, and you said, no, it's not. This is how it's going to be, and all 100 trillion cells follow suit. This is what happens. In 1981, I was diagnosed with leukemia.
Oh my God.
I'm an empath. And it was never so right in my face. My father had died 6 months prior of lymphoma, and he got leukemia. He actually got a chickenpox.
Oh
It's
no.
not a very nice story, but a nurse brought it in. He had never had it. He was 84 years old. And anyway, I had a 10-year-old daughter, and I was not well. And, my mother was freaked. And, finding a place for my daughter to live and making all these arrangements, and something just went, this doesn't belong to you. Stop it. It just doesn't belong to you. I did go every day and get shots in my ass because my body wasn't holding any nutrients, but awareness is the first start of change. And our intention is the beginning of the outcome. And on that day that I realized that it didn't belong to me, probably because of some of the experiences that I had been through, all my cells got on board and just went, yeah. And so when blood work came back, they said, we must have misdiagnosed you. And I just smiled and went, I'm so happy about that. I didn't make any waves, I'm just so happy. But if you wanted to share, would you share? Can you share? Is it too personal? Want to share? Yeah? Okay, and then I want to share. Go ahead. I'd like to share. Go ahead. Okay. You have to speak up. You can come up here if you want.
No, I'm good. Okay, the person that showed up was a nurse that killed my mother.
Okay.
And by malpractice. And so I have had big pain in my heart for what happened, because my mother lived with me, she was 91 years old, and she lived with me her entire life. But at that point, she was getting up in the night, and we couldn't take care of her at home anymore. So I put her in a nursing home. In 2 months, this woman killed her. And when I was in front of her, I was talking to her and telling her how that, her being so careless, and she was like playing to be a nurse, and she didn't even know what she was doing, and this and that. And then you continue to guide us in the exercise, and then you said, to tell that person what I wanted you to love me, I was like,
I don't want you to love me, I don't want any part of you, right?
Exactly, and I was like, you're not supposed to be the one here, because I don't want you to love me, and that's not, and so immediately the exercise kind of got missed,
Were you able to ask her what happened to her in her life?
no, because when you said, I wanted you to love me, I says, you get out of here. I says, because you're not supposed to be there, because I don't want you to love me. And so you're not supposed to be
So
the
did
one.
she just sort of go back to where she came?
So I just expelled her out.
That's
And I
okay.
says, so I guess, so then I started analyzing the exercise and thinking, well, then if then it should have been my mother or my father, or who should have been there, because if I'm telling them what I wanted you to love me, and I said no, and so it was kind of
Wishy-washy.
wishy-washy. So
So
I couldn't
the
finish
thing
the
that-
exercise, and I was thinking that maybe you shouldn't say that we tell that person I wanted you to love me.
understand what you're
because
saying.
it was like, if it would have flowed something, maybe she would have said something, but by
Okay.
trying to.
Okay, let me stop right there. Let me tell you one thing that I actually probably should have said. Going into this exercise like a child is the very best way. The more educated we are, the more experiences we have of life, the more challenging it can become to get into that space. For just that reason, our logical mind wants to analyze it, wants to put it the way we think it should be, and that's your subconscious fighting it, and that's okay. There's no wrong way. You already know you have something that needs to be healed. And what you now know is that this piece with this nurse, if you find a pathway, is ready, willing, and able to be healed, which will put the whole piece with your mother at peace. So I thank you very much for sharing, because I know it's not always easy to share. Well, is it okay if you share? Do you have a really loud voice?
I can make it loud.
Projecting, okay.
So when I went through the door, I really felt my energetic self in the exercise. So I do feel like I left my kind of physical sitting in the chair. And when I started going down the stairs, I was actually greeted by a boyfriend that I lost when I was 17. And so
On the path?
on the stairs.
On
So
stairs?
I hadn't even got in the room yet. And then when we were in, so he kind of just guided me down the stairs. And I've had similar dreams like that before, so I don't know if that's why it played out that way. And then when we were in the room together, the first question was, what did you say to ask?
Well, just how you felt, how you made me feel.
Yeah. So I just went through with him how his passing has stuck with me of fear for my husband now. If I don't hear from him in a timely manner, if I don't, I start just calling. It triggers that fear.
things, yeah.
So I was telling him how losing him has made me feel and how it has affected me, that trauma of experiencing that and wanting so desperately not to feel
Right.
that, but then connecting with the energy, realizing like that it's a, like, you could still connect after,
Yes.
after people pass.
Yeah, you know what,
Because
I could call this mediumship 101 and they'd be lined up outside the door. I don't do that and on purpose because this is a very, very sacred place. And, you know, when you're in that place, just use your wildest imagination of some things that can come through. You know what I mean? Seriously, so that's why we do it in this context. Was something able to be healed? Because I kind of noticed you were weeping
Yeah.
and I felt like,
I feel like this weekend in general, but with him, energetically, I feel like there was a definite connection of the energies. I think for me, what's healed is that death is not scary. And sure, you're going to physically grieve the loss of somebody, but that you can visit them and they can visit you, and that a relationship can continue.
and that will probably help you in the relationship you're in now. And so just I haven't done the workshop in a couple of years, been busy writing books and things, but just know if anybody ever wants to do a full workshop or anything, contact me, because last night it was in Sedona, and I love it. I was going to do a retreat there, but it's a vast subject. It's not something we can really cover in an hour, but I just really felt like, from the moment I walked in the door, I'm like, I'm not talking about food and herbs, and I'm not belittling food and herbs, okay? I live my life and it's what I do, but in this conference and from some things I was picking up, I'm like, and people are talking about ascension, this is a piece that's critical to being able to grow our soul to the next level. We're talking about 5D. This piece is critical because it can be, you know, if you want to soar with the angels, you've got to cut that weight that's hanging on your foot. Sometimes on both feet. And sometimes we don't know that we really have it until something happens and triggers it. Would anybody else like to share anything? He's got a great smile. You've got a great smile. Would you like to share anything? You don't have to.
I saw my brother, an uncle, and there's always like family issues that arise, and so we were able to address that.
Okay, good. Good. It's the beginning. This is an opening. I just want you to know. We've just opened a little door here. Does anybody have any thoughts or anything on it?
Oh, sorry, just
Oh.
dealing with my cold.
I actually, when I was in my early 40s, said to my mother, and she was still alive, I mean, just what you said, I needed you to love me and acknowledge me for my A+s and in art and everything. And she looked me right into my eyes and said, I don't know how to do that. And it was her truth.
Yeah.
I totally knew that. I knew because she was one of 10 children. That was not what life was about in Germany in 1943 or prior to that. And I never ever expected it again or made her wrong for it. And she started doing it the best she could.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, in this practice right now, I have my sisters were 16 and 18 years older than I, and I realized that I really never really knew my oldest sister very well. And I'm going to do this as a meditation and say to her, what happened to you that you were always so angry at everything and everybody? And I mean, literally, when she too died for my mother, and my mother said, what a waste of life. That's what my mother said about my sister, which was kind of true. It was really true, because she was unhappy no matter what. So that's what, I mean, I'm going to see if I get an answer. Like, I was like this mistake. I was born, by accident. My mom went to visit my dad in an army camp. And I'm sure my sister was not happy about that, having a baby in the house. That wasn't even hers. And she probably got stuck taking care of me more than she wanted to. I have no real answers to any of this, but that's how it feels.
Well, and now you have some of the questions.
Right.
Now, it's It's funny, I had, after my last workshop, I had a girl, it was weird. This girl was sitting, I had about 16, I keep it down under 20 people, right under 20 people. This girl was sitting in the front row, right? And she had such a transformation. When we were getting ready, we circle up and we do these things to make sure everyone's grounded. We do this before we leave, right? And everybody said, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "What?" She's been sitting here all day. She had lunch with us. Her face changed in such a way, nobody even recognized her in the room. And she's like, "No, really, I've been here all day." You know, she thought they were going to attack her or something. I was like, "No, you weren't here. Did you come in and our eyes were..." I'm like, "Stop, everybody stop. This is so-and-so. You've been talking with her all day. She's been here." But it was such a shift, profound shift for her, that her face changed. It was really strange. And she called me up a couple of months later, and she said, "Can I take you to lunch? I really have to talk to you." And I'm like, "Sure." We met at the Black Bear Diner and had a little dessert, whatever. But the bottom line is, she said, I hadn't spoken to my sister in 9 years. We are, no, you know. She said, and she called me. She called me and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, "Listen, I told you this was going to heal things along the timeline." I said, "It's up, do you want a relationship? Do you want to open that door?" I don't know how glad you are to hear from her. I don't know. You know, you have an opportunity now. Or you could say, "I'm not ready to speak to you." It's up, you know, it's like up to you. But these are signs of really dynamic things that can happen. You know, we're born into these families for a reason. Sometimes I'm like, there just can't be a reason for this. Sorry, my own personal thing. But obviously I'm a stranger in front of my family, right? And there again, it's each a blessing, because these are the steps that we are being told. We're being told that these are the steps we have to take for our ascension. I have a book, it's out of print, and it's called Reading the Language of the Cosmos. It was one of the first things I channeled after I got back to my body after 1999, but it talked about the energies of the cosmos, the universe, and how it affects each and every one of us as it's going across the planets and everything, right? And one thing they said is, "Listen, you think this is empty air? It's not. It's waves and waves and waves of information meant for your evolution. You just have to learn to speak the language of the cosmos." And that's what I named the book. And not that I sold a lot of books. Everybody thought I was this, you know, huge astrologer. I'm like, I'm not an astrologer. And they're like, "Well, how'd you write the book?" I'm like, "Don't ask me. I just wrote the book." Anyway, I'm rewriting it in a way that I don't have to do the, God, you know, there's 3 different energies that come in on a daily basis, usually with the planets and stuff. It took me 3 months every year to rewrite this, so a little too much. So I just want you to know that, I don't have any idea what time it is, but my book, this book really does touch on everything. It doesn't, there's more than touch on it, but the chapter about synchronizing the conscious and unconscious mind is really good. And one more thing I'd like to let you know. If anybody ever says to,
13 minutes.
we have 3 minutes?
13.
13.
Oh, we have 13 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, God, we could have stayed in there a little longer then. Well, I would have been traveling, but, sorry. I had to keep myself, you know, whatever. We'll talk about more stuff. But I just want you to know, you know, a lot of times people say, leave your baggage at the door, like your baggage is ego, like the ego is really bad. I just want to share a perspective with you. Your ego isn't bad. Your ego is there for a reason. And number 2, you couldn't leave this stuff at the door if you wanted to. Now, I used to have meditations and I had a basket outside my front door. And I'd say, okay, all the gossip, all this stuff, I'd say, just put it in this basket and you can pick it up when you come back, when you're on your way out. But everything that's happened to you in your life is a stepping stone for you. So, and I'm not saying anything bad about tapping, okay? I think everybody should do everything. but all the tapping in the world is not going to make these things that are imprinted on all 100 trillion cells go away. So, and there is a way. How many people have actually traveled into the quantum field outside time and space?
What?
Outside time and space, been in the quantum field. Okay. So you know that everything is possible, and anything is possible. And it can happen in an instant. It just sometimes takes us half a lifetime to get to that moment. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm really good at answering questions. Please have questions. Well, so people also ask me, how does health and wellness tie into this stuff? Why are you talking about food? Because it's really important. I was eavesdropping a conversation out of the booth today when somebody was talking about ascension again. And they were talking about, I was sort of listening. Everything we do, we already know this, every thought that we have, thought manifests into things. My daughter worries a lot, and I keep telling her, when you worry, you're asking for what you don't want. Do whatever it takes, you know, just whatever. And I people ever ask for strength.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Glad to see you. How many people have ever asked for strength in your life? Okay. I'm really glad I asked that question. I don't normally ask that question, but unless I'm in a workshop. Don't. Stop. I'm going to give you a perspective from the universe because I've been out there way more than I asked for, okay? What is it that causes you to be strong?
Adversity.
Adversity, illness, betrayal. What is the saying? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
So when you ask for strength, what is it that the universe actually hears you asking for? More
Trauma testing.
Yeah, more stuff. And then people ask me, well, Sheila, what do we ask for? And I'm like, stop asking. Stop asking. How about just being grateful? Being grateful is one of the highest frequencies you can get, along with love. And what's the other one? Well, anyway, it's way up there. So just be grateful. I mean, be grateful. I have this little thing I do every morning when I wake up, thank you. Even if you don't have it. Say it like you have it right now. Thank you for this glorious day. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the love and respect of my friends and my family. Thank you for the $10,000 I'm making this month. Thank you. Whatever it is, thank you. Just thank you. And every time we sort of think in our minds and give a blessing, you know that it's coming back upon you tenfold, right? Everybody walk around blessing everybody? Besides me, well, I have to, whatever. I've got really good parking karma though. So, I like talking about this book because it has a lot. How many people take herbs? How many people know that 6 grams of cinnamon can help regulate your blood sugar? What kind of cinnamon are you using? Where'd you get yours?
I think Costco.
Hold that thought. Where'd you get yours?
Salem.
Where?
Salem.
Sheila.
Selah, okay. Oh, well, you're using Scion, right? It's Scion. Okay, you got it online?
Salem. Sri Lanka.
Yeah, okay. Where'd you get, did you raise your hand?
Well, my friend, sent it from Greece, and she thinks it's the Zion. But
It's not great, okay.
But
and-
I have a feeling it's not. I'll just have to, I'm using it, but I don't think it is. I'm gonna buy some of what you're saying,
Okay,
because I know it's darker.
yeah,
Yes.
okay. Did you, somebody raise your hand, cinnamon over here? Anybody cinnamon? No? Okay, well, cinnamon is just a lot, does a lot of things. Also can help with blood pressure, circulation. Please don't buy it at the store. All stores, if you're buying it at a store, it's been irradiated. And it's also more than likely Casa, more than likely Casa. And Casa cinnamon can be very disruptive to the liver. So people are out there pulling spoonfuls of stuff thinking it's good for their sugar, and in the meantime, they're taxing their liver. Go to a good herbal store that carries organic, it's called True Cinnamon or Scion Cinnamon. There is a million tips like that in this book because there's so much. Who drinks nettle tea? Are you drinking the leaf or the root?
I just do that nature's medicine, like, or the,
Is it nettle? You drink,
it's nettle leaf, is what
Nettle
it says
leaf.
on it, yeah.
okay, good, because you're a female. I know this sounds weird, and you drink nettle?
I don't know. It's in a little bag and I don't know.
We'll find out, because every herb, to everything there is a purpose. Nettle is one of these amazing herbs that can do so much if you're doing it right. Nettle leaf was meant for women, but the root only should be taken by men. If you take nettle root, drink it in a tea, for men, it stops the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. Why is that important? You see a lot of guys walking around with man boobs now and all this stuff, and men are getting breast cancer. It's never, that's wrong. That's just wrong. Isn't it wrong? But it's because of all the hormones, of course, and all the GMOs and the things that are going into food. So it's just really important to know what you're putting in your mouth. I know this is a far, we're coming down now. I'm bringing you out of this realm of this esoteric realm. I'm bringing you back here, back now. We're actually going to do a little bit of grounding before we leave the room. I find that's the most effective way. So anyway, I don't want people coming to me an hour later going, I don't think I'm back now. Did you help me? I'm like, okay. So does everybody feel like you're really grounded and back?
Yes.
Okay, and that's really good. Of course, this was a very short snippet of, some of the travel and some of the things we could do. I would like you to know that I do have programs. My life is dedicated to helping people stay 30 to their 90, to living a fulfilled life and a blessed life. And in order to do that, you almost have to become a freaking scientist today, just to stay well. Because of the air we breathe and the water we breathe. I work with 3 or 4 products that I've studied all my life. I'm an expert in helping people to bring their blood sugar from where they don't want it to be to where they do want it to be in a pretty short period of time. If anyone has type 2 diabetes, you send them to me. There's just tons of things out there. We're in an age right now. There's so much. How many people have a cupboard, just a cupboard full of stuff? And maybe do you take it all? You do? I have a cupboard full of stuff that I don't take.
So do I.
Well, because there's only there's 3 or 4 products that I know are very, very good, very high grade. And those are the ones
Can you
I
buy
take.
your books online on Amazon?
That's a really good question.
Can you tell us
I
the 3 or 4
just-
products you take?
Pardon me?
Can you tell us the 3 or 4 products you take too?
What'd you say?
Can you tell us the 3 or 4 products you take?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm an interpreter.
And if you give me your phone number, I'll send you a link. I take a product called Protandem. And I can't let the secret out that Dr. McCord, who invented it, is in another country right now, and in 6 months he's putting something else out, and then I'll be taking that. But what Protandem is, it's 5 Ayurvedic drugs, 5 Ayurvedic herbs, very anti-cancer. It does 2 things. It causes the body to break down inflammation in the body, and it causes the body to reabsorb scar tissue. Anyone you know that's had heart surgery or anything, it will elongate and make somebody's life way good. 3 years ago, I was in a little mishap and I really fractured the neck of my right femur. I had a very nasty surgery. I have 3 titanium pins that go into the gall of my hip. And it's one of those sticky ones where they roll you and then they staple you. And the nurses would come in to change the bandage with all the scoop, and I'd say, just take it away. And they'd go, did you have the surgery? There's no swelling, there's no blood, there's no oozing. And I'm like, yeah. And I don't even have a scar. And I can do this. And if you have arthritis or have things that burn up, You don't have any pain. So Protandim is really good.
So you'll send us a link for all these?
Yes, please.
Okay, do you have something to,
Yeah, actually,
do you have something that we can all sign and give you our numbers?
I would love that. I do. Good. Anybody have pens? So
Yes.
then the next product is, there's something new. It's not new on the market, okay, but nobody knows about it, so I can say it together. It's called Protobite. Protobite is a liquid.
It's really good.
What makes Protobite special is it's a completely new delivery system. This guy, I don't know what planet he's from, but he could actually win one of those Pulitzers or whatever.
Do you know his name?
He discovered a whole new way of delivering system. You put it, it's a liquid. And what happens is it causes the oxygen that you're already breathing to function at a much higher rate. And the water. I'm a live blood microscopist. For those of you who live in Las Vegas, I do live blood analysis, and I have proof. You can see it in the blood because the blood doesn't lie. That's another product. I'm kind of a herbal nut, so I do herbs and things depending on what you need. And okay, you're gonna think this is really silly. I do Shakeology. Anybody know about that?
Is that the machine that shakes?
You know what? It's a good product. No. It's a powder. It's put out by Beachbody. And I always hated Beachbody. I'm like, I would never look at those products. But they came out with a senior edition. They came out with a vegan Shakeology. And it has wonderful ability to lower blood sugar. You can have it as a meal. If you want to use it to lose weight, you can. But you could live on this stuff. And it's all superfoods. And then the other one is XR. Now, you'll never know about this company. XR is an enzyme company, and the enzymes they make clean up your blood. It is like, it's so cool.
What's it called?
Huh?
What was it?
XR. And
And she can
put your
send us
name,
those.
put your name and your email and your phone number. I'll send you the link to all of these.
Or beautiful.
Yeah, and because we all need a little help. I had a friend, actually she's a doctor, and she came in from New York, and she had a gallbladder removed a few years ago. She wasn't feeling very well at all. It was late at night, and I said, let's do your blood. So we did her blood. Man, it was messy. The plasma was, you couldn't even tell it was plasma hard. It was nuts. I gave her 2 what's called fat and sugar enzymes on an empty stomach before she went to bed. I was taking her to a hotel the next morning. I said, let's do your blood. She goes, okay. Give me a drop. And she was like crying. She's like, wow, what happened? I mean, the blood was cleared up. And it was, not that it's going to stay away forever. I don't want to paint the picture that this is like a lifelong thing, okay? You have to take these things. But so there are things that you can take, that you can add to your life that enhances it. Because we are symbiotic. What you eat is connected to what you feel. What you feel is connected to what you think. What you think is connected to how your thought process is going to be. It's body, mind, and spirit. And with all the elements, the air, the water, the fire, and earth, we are all of that. All of it. So, yeah, one more question.
Yeah, about your books. Is it available online?
Yeah, they are available at my website, and I just had them put into PDF, so those will be available too. They're not all available on Amazon right now.
Let me just take a picture then, so
Okay.
I get your website. Is your website on the book?
Yeah, my website is on these papers, which are at my desk, and you can pass them out and have them. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for being brave.
I'm teaching quantum touch energy healing in this room right now, if anyone's interested, as well as the Wonder Method, 2 different energy healing modalities in 1 hour.
Okay, sorry. I only have